Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. And be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe were on Undisputed today, and they start talking about Julio Jones because Julio Jones was seen wearing a Cowboys shirt amid all the trade rumors that he's not going to be in Atlanta. That's, of course, relevant here because the Falcons are in the Saints division, and what happens with Julio and that franchise obviously matters here because that's the team you face twice a year, and they're in your division, whatever. Well, Shannon Sharpe pulls out his phone and calls Julio Jones live on the air. Now, since I've been on air, and it's been 2.5 hours now, I haven't seen an update. So I don't, perhaps something since, full disclosure, perhaps something has broken since then where if it wasn't really Julio or he knew he was on air, but I don't know. But it certainly didn't sound like Julio Jones knew that Shannon Sharpe was putting him live on air. Like Shannon pulls out his cell phone, he's got it right next to his microphone on his lapel, and he's got him on speaker, and so we can all hear what Julio Jones is saying. I mean, even Skip Bayless sitting right next to Shannon Sharpe was very surprised. So this is how the conversation went.
We call? Okay, we are calling. We're calling.
You watching, Julio?
I really hope he answers here.
Julio, have the guts to pick up the phone.
What's happening?
Yeah.
All right.
Julio. Hold on. Let me put you on. Can you hear me?
I got you. This is your favorite uncle. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you?
Man, look. You want to go to the Cowboys, Julio? Or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh, man, nah, I'm out of there, man.
You
He's
out of
out. He's out of there.
there? Are you going to... Ideally, where would you like to go?
Right now, I want to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
Man, listen, come on, man. You already know I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television
Ask
right
him
now?
why he wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people is, man, with all that going
Right.
on with the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog. You know I know my nephew was going to pick up.
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah, I ain't going to Dallas, man. I never thought about going to Dallas.
Okay. I appreciate that, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Now he might not have any choice.
So at the end, Shannon Sharpe says, he says, I'm on air right now. I mean, I can just tell you from my standpoint, first of all, there are legalities involved. I mean, just from an FCC standpoint, there are legalities involved with cold calling people and not announcing to them that they're on air. Whatever. I'll let people in higher offices take care of that if anything comes of it. I think that's really crappy that if Julio Jones thinks he's having a candid conversation with you and you're broadcasting it, that's really crappy. That's a different conversation that we could have altogether. But as far as the crux of Julio Jones saying, I'm out of there, that's what's gotten everybody's attention today. There's been talks of Atlanta moving Julio Jones, and that seemed to confirm it there, where he said, I'm out of there. Okay. By the way, did you get the Undisputed viewership? Because someone did text me to the show text line.
What I found is a little dated. Like I could only find back to 2017, but in 2017, it averaged 155,000 viewers, and that was in July of that year is when it averaged that.
Okay.
All right, that's what I could find. Which I mean, you're not far off with the 250,000. You actually, kind of gave it a few extra there.
That was also July, which is a notoriously slower time.
It's true.
Like your pump would, for a show like that, your pump would come during football season, but you're not going to 10x your audience. Like they're not getting millions. My point is, I'm not necessarily just taking a shot at Undisputed. It's legitimate. I mean, I got 100,000 people watching. Maybe call it a quarter. Say they double the audience during football. Okay, you got 250,000 people watching. Whatever. All right. Number one, how does that affect Julio or how does that affect Atlanta? Will be interesting. Julio Jones has been a phenomenal wide receiver, a very likely, certainly a Hall of Fame candidate, if not a Hall of Famer. We could probably have that debate, and we'll have that debate whenever his time in the NFL ends. The tricky part about Julio is in his NFL career, he's 32 years old. He's only played in all 16 games 4 times. As great as he has been, he hasn't actually been a super durable receiver. And he just played in 9 games in 2020. So at 32 years old, he's coming off a season where he missed 7 games. And now he's had 4 1,500-yard receiving seasons, or 3 1,500-yard receiving seasons in his career, which is phenomenal. But it's also a question where you go, would you like Julio Jones? Absolutely. But at what price? See, I think of it from a Saints standpoint where they just came off a season where you had Emmanuel Sanders, where in a young receiver room, you went and got a veteran guy at a cost-effective point to say, okay, bring that guy in to add a little bit of a veteran presence. Remember, Emmanuel Sanders has just been in the Super Bowl the year prior with the Niners. There was a lot that made sense there with Sanders. I would say the same for Julio. Veteran guy. And remember, Sean Payton loves NFC South players. Brought in Curtis Lofton from Atlanta, Jameis Winston from Tampa Bay, Kurt Coleman from Carolina, A.J. Klein from Carolina. I mean, that's something that Payton has done. I mean, you get to see these guys twice a year. You scout them all year, all offseason. You know them exceptionally well. And obviously, Sean Payton's seen Julio Jones twice a year his entire career. Would you love Julio Jones in New Orleans opposite Michael Thomas? Hell yeah, you would. The problem is not even what you would give up for it. Atlanta reportedly wants a first-round pick for Julio Jones. I mean, you can ask whatever you want. That's like on eBay or StubHub. Oh, man, these tickets are going for $157,000. I mean, you can ask whatever you want for them. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. Atlanta can ask for a first-round pick. They're not going to get a first-round pick for a 32-year-old wide receiver who's only played a full season 4 times, especially at the price tag. Now, this is where the Saints' capology would have to come into play, because if you look at Julio Jones' current contract, he's under contract for 2021 and 2022, and his cap hit this year is $23 million. Now, in Atlanta, the dead cap money is $40.55 million, meaning if Julio Jones is on the roster, he costs him $23 million. If he is not on the roster, he costs $40.5 million. It is, you would have to count $40 million against your cap for a guy not on your team. Now, there is one caveat. You can show this, Paul. If it is a post-June 1 release, as you can see there, the number, and this is all via Spotrac, the number reduces. Post-June 1, if they release him, the dead cap number goes from $25 million to $15.5. If it's a post-June 1 trade, the dead cap money for Atlanta in 2021 is $7.7 million. The dead cap in 2022 is $15.5. That would save them more than $15 million this year if Atlanta trades Julio Jones post-June 1. Atlanta is actually in the same boat with the New Orleans Saints from a salary cap perspective, where they can't even afford to pay their draft picks. So if you trade Julio Jones post-June 1 and you save $15 million against the cap and you recoup a draft pick, and oh, by the way, you've got Calvin Ridley and you just drafted Kyle Pitts, you feel like that's a win. You save a bunch of money. You brought in a really good young receiver. You maybe recoup a high draft pick. We'll see what they get. If I'm New Orleans, there's a lot of teams that are going to be interested. And maybe Terry Fontenot being in Atlanta, his relationship with Mickey Loomis, maybe they could consummate a deal. And this happened before. Saints have signed free agents from the NFC South, and if you can work out a deal for trades, do it as well. I don't know that Atlanta would be willing to trade Julio Jones to New Orleans, but if they came with the right package, the right price, certainly if you could restructure a contract, that would make some sense to get a guy that you know well, that could fit your offense, would love to take out a little aggression on the division and his former team. If you can get it at an inexpensive cost, as a middle round pick, I'd be on board with it. I think there is a path. I think the odds of that happening, I think, are slim. But one thing we know about Loomis and Peyton in this era is they will go up to the plate and take their hacks. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.